Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Linda de Gonzalez, and I'm Wanda's backup singer. And today, Wanda's other backup singer is Pixie the Soul Reader. I'm so happy to welcome Pixie back. It's been a while since you've been
Everybody,
on. Welcome.
hi. Yes,
Okay.
Wanda is our boss.
Yes. Wanda is the boss. I don't know how long she's going to be with us today. She's feeling really good. And so, and that means feistiness, and that means she has no tolerance for boredom. So when she gets bored, she's gonna want to go back home to her cage her where all her interesting stuff is. We don't have Nightbot today. Nightbot seems to have taken a lot. Yeah,
on strike.
I don't know how benevolent. I have scars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not recent ones, but when she was young, she was very, very. I think the bird people call it nippy. I just call it, T-Rex on steroids. Sorry. We don't have Nightbot today, as I began telling you. Nightbot seems to have taken a long weekend and a few days early, and so that's right. So I'm going to be taking questions manually, as they say. Hi, Tarot Stash. And I'm going to say, before we start with the questions, tiny sacrifices. It was the taste of blood. Okay. Yeah. It was blood sacrifices to the bird gods. So, okay. Okay, got one question. We're going to take 8 questions today, and please go ahead and start putting them in. I've got 3, 4, 5. Okay, I've got 5 questions already, and we're like 3 minutes into the show. Okay, Chrissy, I cannot answer that question. Who your guides are, and I'll explain why in a minute. As soon as I get the lineup, as soon as I get the questions lined up, Pixie and I can have a discussion on this whole business of knowing who your guides are. It has to do with the whole catch-22 of spiritual development. And those of you who've been here a while will know exactly what I'm talking. Yeah, Nightbot went on a sabbatical, Diane. That's right. Suzanne G says a reading, and I think that's a question. So I'm going to interpret that as you would like to hear about a past life that has some kind of significance to this current life that you're leading. Okay. That's my interpretation of it. Okay, we're at 9 questions. Questions are closed. Questions are closed. Where's my banner for questions are closed? Yes, there we go. Okay, I want to hit the comments and not the end stream button. Okay, so Suzanne says yes. Pixie is a good option. Yes.
I have 2 glasses of water for that reason.
Yeah.
It's a little dry here.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, we had rain, yes. Well, sort of scattered showers yesterday. Today is very sunny and nice here on the West Coast. I haven't been outside. So, okay, I'm going to take this banner off because it irritates me.
I'm with you. It's your prerogative, whatever you want to do.
Actually, S. Steele, I think it is a record. I know that the record for Akashic Adventures was like 2 minutes into the show that questions were filled, but that was with 2 of us marking questions. Okay, so I'm going to go through the roster of, and before I do that, I want to welcome Donna, who is a new member on my channel. And I want to let you all know that, yes, there is a membership available, and it has lots of really cool perks. You'll see people in the chat with pretty little flowers next to their names, different color flowers. That's because they're members. And so welcome, Donna, and also welcome to Jennifer Mullen. because she's a brand new member as well.
Well, thank you for the compliment, Kim B.
Oh, okay. So that means that I can take one more question. Hang on. Yes, Kim, I'm glad Pixie is on too. It's been a while, and it's been like 6 weeks or something since we last had Pixie on, if not more. And she's a wonderful, wonderful reader.
Thank you.
Actually, one of the best I know. Okay. Oh, wait, here's a question. Oh, no, I already did that. One more question. Who can type the fastest?
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. What did you say?
Saying hello to Akila.
Oh, hi, Akila. Yeah. I got to watch for questions. So you go ahead and say hi to everybody you see. But first, I want to say a great big hello to Kim B, who it was more than 6 weeks. Yeah, that's what I thought. Chrissy, if you have a question, now's the time to type it in, because I'm looking for one more question.
Yeah.
Anyway, where was I going? I don't remember.
That's okay. We're just winging it over here.
Christy, if you just want to, okay, so Christy, I'm going to mark you as a question, okay? And you just think about what you want, and you just think about what you want to know, and then when it's your turn, you can give me the question, okay? So congratulations, Kim, for being the first in chat. And she gets a totally hypothetical and virtual gold star.
Oh, S. Steele has asked me if I have my own channel. No, I do not have it right at the moment. I've been talking to my guys, and we've been in meetings. What can I say? So, yes, this is under development. Let's put it that way. Well, thank you for asking.
Yeah, sometimes people and a hug, yes, and a virtual hug, of course, Kim. Sometimes it takes people a while to work themselves around to the idea of doing a channel, because it's a big deal for those of us who read. It's a big deal. We look comfortable in everything, but some of us are quite introverted, especially the empath readers. They're generally tend to be introverts, and it's a real hard thing for them to do this. Okay.
I don't want to start it and let people down. And right now I just have I'm moving a lot of stuff around, selling things. So I got a lot on my plate right at the moment. So I don't want to get too much on my plate. I would not want to let people down.
Yeah. Very wise decision.
Plus, I do readings at a physical bookstore locally, so I kind of have that too. So
do you do private readings, like if people email you?
Oh yes, I do private readings.
So you can now, all the links and the emails are in the show notes below, the video description. Sorry, I keep calling them show notes. And so you can get in touch with Pixie for a private reading. She is absolutely a fabulous reader. I want to say hi to S. Steele, and of course, the Queen of Mods, Diane G., who, by the way, has started her own channel, and her first show is going to be a special Children's Day special. Now, in North America, it's going to be on Sunday at 2:00 Pacific and 5:00 Eastern, but she's in the Philippines. So Philippines, it's on Monday, May 5th, which is Children's Day all through Asia. It's a big celebration. We never hear about it because it's not something we do in North America, or even in Europe, I don't think. But it's a very big, important celebration throughout Asia. So please, subscribe to Diane's channel and be there for her inaugural Children's Day special on Sunday at 2 Pacific. What else? Let me see. Who else is here? Well, we already said hello to Akila. And I'm trying to find the stupid cursor. I have such a hard time finding that thing, honestly. Well, no, not the cursor. I've got the cursor. It's the slider that moved. Well, never mind. I'll shut up now. Patrick Duncan, hello.
Technical difficulties that we wish they would work a little bit more cooperatively with us sometimes.
Yeah. Emily Lawrence Bradley, Jazz, Chrissy Murphy. Well, we already said hi to Gerald, Suzanne G. And let's see.
Rossi?
Is Rossi here? Oh, that's awesome. Hi, Rossi. And so Curiel. And we already said hi to Chrissy Murphy. I have a hard time keeping all of this together in my head. You understand that, right?
Yep. I definitely get that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Both of us offer private readings. And thank you, Diane, for posting your channel. I was wondering if you would if you would do that, because if I had it copied and ready to paste if you didn't.
Sunnyland, that's a new name to me. I haven't seen that.
Sunnyland? I saw Sunnyland a couple of days ago in the Akashic Adventures chat, and so welcome, Sunnyland. I'm happy to see you again. Christy Murphy, I see your question, and you got it, girl. Okay, so let's start with the roster, and then we can start answering questions.
Jane the Seeker?
Kim B. Huh?
Jane the Seeker?
Oh, is she here? Oh, hi, Jane.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So let's see. This is the roster. Kim B. Jazz, Emily Lawrence Bradley, Patrick Duncan, Nancy Ray, S. Steele, Suzanne G., and Chrissy Murphy. And those are our 8 questions for the day, for the afternoon. You're welcome, Chrissy. Okay. And the first question, oh, wait, no. I screwed that up. See, it doesn't take much, right? Don't you wish Nightbot was back? This never happens with Nightbot.
We won't sweat the small stuff today.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, ask our guys to help us out, and whatever happens.
Appreciate any retelling of a Mediterranean. Okay, this. Would you like to answer this, Pixie? Kim's question.
Would appreciate any retelling of a Mediterranean past life that benefits my highest good. Well, let's see what they're gonna say. Don't have a problem asking.
Oh, do you know what? Before you start,
yeah,
we forgot to open the records.
I have like 4 beings standing in front of me, so
okay. Well, they'll have to wait and be patient.
Well, they're more than patient.
Yeah, they've got way more patience than I do. Okay, 3 deep breaths, everybody. We're surrounded by the pure white light of divine source. We ask Archangel Michael to protect and guide us, and we call forth all of our angels, guides, beings of light, and Akashic Records masters to assist us now to receive information of the highest good, highest truth, highest frequency of light and love, allowing us to receive exactly what we need for our greatest good and the greatest good of humanity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We open ourselves to the light, and with this light, we open ourselves to our truth. And with this light, we open ourselves to our soul's purpose. And with this light, we open ourselves to be guided towards our highest good and the highest good of all in divine love. And so this group, consisting of the people here now, those who will join us later, and those who will watch the replay are given the truth to best serve them on their healing journey into the love and acceptance that is most beneficial for them in this moment. I'll read that silently. And with this light and guidance, we unlock the energy field of this group to receive the records of their souls. I can't believe I forgot it because, it was sitting right here on the keyboard on top, right there. Okay, go ahead, Pixie.
Okay.
Anytime you're ready.
I'm seeing like a smaller child, maybe about 4.
Hi, baby.
What the point of this lifetime was. I think that's probably what Kim wants to know, what she was supposed to learn. It wasn't a very long lifetime, is what I'm getting. Let me find out why the contract, your Akashic records were for that lifetime. The arrangement was kind of a short one, but I'm trying to find out why it was short. Part of it was you were hesitant for some reason. Okay. A previous lifetime, like it was a long time before this particular moment, and I'm getting Spain. So it's in Spain, and you were hesitant because the previous lifetime on the Earth plane was you picked a really difficult lifetime, and you weren't sure you wanted to come back, so I feel like you just want to kind of dip your toe in the water again. You're a little hesitant about it. So you didn't arrange for a really long lifetime. This is the first time I've seen a hesitancy quite this much about coming back in. Let me ask. You had a lot of siblings. I get 6. That's quite a few siblings. You were the youngest. There's a lot of cooperation because I get it's a ranch, so it requires a lot of cooperation. And, you tend to start working when you're fairly young because it's kind of like the family business in a way. Everybody works. The philosophy of like a farm or a ranch. Let's find out. You're working around, like I see cattle. This is not a horse ranch. Oh, okay. You produce some were bulls for the interesting. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of information, so just give me a second. It's a bullfighting, or you had an arrangement to supply bulls to the bullfighting business. Okay, it's near Madrid. Okay, well, this is a very short lifetime, so we're not going to get a lot of information, but you were kind of like, because you were the youngest, and traditionally the youngest child doesn't have as many rules and regulations to follow, it's a little more relaxed for them. And so you had more freedom than your brothers and sisters did. It's hard to keep track of you because you were kind of like a wild child. You were all over the place on the ranch because you wanted to see everything. You didn't want to be, out of the action, basically, is what I'm hearing. So got distracted by, I'm seeing a butterfly. So you were following this butterfly and you weren't 100% focused on anything else. And unfortunately, it got you into a situation where you were in a bull's pen on the ranch. So once you heard the hoofs of the bull, because he was, being pretty loud about his objection about somebody or something being in its particular vicinity, that he didn't give permission for you to be there, basically, was kind of his attitude. Like, what are you doing here? Um, and it startled you because you didn't realize what you'd run yourself into, his pen. And unfortunately, because you were very young, you couldn't really run that fast. But unfortunately, he could. And he was, it's kind of like trying to run a train or a car. You're not going to be faster. You're going to be, unfortunately, slower. Um, the only good thing about that passing is it was very quick. It wasn't, you didn't survive. It was not it was not a prolonged passing, but you made a huge impact. Even though you were very young, you made a big impact, not just on your parents, but your siblings. Like, it took everybody a really long time to get over your passing. It was the first passing they'd had in their family. So that was a lesson for them. Everybody got a lecture about who was watching you and who wasn't. And, because you want to blame somebody for what happened, even though it was something that you would put in your contract. But you really had, it was a very short life, but it was a very, everybody kind of doted on you. And after the previous life that you'd had, it was a new experience for you to be that loved and to have freedom. We didn't have a lot of freedom in the lifetime before that. So that's what you were learning. And you were allowed to be yourself, which is really a gift. A lot of people don't get that gift when they're children. You kind of regretted when you passed on the other side, you kind of regretted that you didn't make it a longer lifetime. But what you came to learn, because the previous incarnation was very traumatic, and you were, like I said, hesitant. It took a lot of discussion about whether or not you were going to come back. So it was brief, but the lessons were, you found out what unconditional love was like, and you got it from multiple sources, not just your parents. You got it from your siblings. Like, there were none of your siblings that you had issues with. Like I said, you were kind of doted on, and you didn't have that experience before. So it was learning to be free, to be yourself without hesitation, and to accept unconditional love, which was, for you, it was a beautiful experience because you hadn't had that before. But that's the reason why it was so short. So it was to learn to accept love from others, that you could be yourself. You didn't have to, kind of make yourself fit into their agenda so you could be loved and accepted. And they may sound like small lessons, but I believe they're very big lessons for most of us.
Yeah.
So I hope that helps you understand why you came in and why the lifetime was so short and what you learned. And it helped you want to continue to reincarnate. That was the other purpose of it. It was like a gift almost, that lifetime. Very interesting.
She says she still chases lights.
Mm.
But before that, she said gored by a bull. I got to say, I didn't get gored by a bull. I got trampled.
Yeah, she wasn't. Yeah, she was trampled. She wasn't gored.
Yeah, you weren't gored, so you don't have to
Okay.
have that. You don't have to have that graphic in your head. Okay, you have a different graphic in your head.
And it was very quick. Like I said, it was very quick.
Yeah.
You didn't suffer at all.
Yeah.
You were out.
Yeah.
But that's what that lifetime's purpose was. I hope that helps you. Sounds very simple, but it's a big thing to be loved, unconditionally.
It's true. It is. It is. Thanks, Pixie. And thank you, Kim. And I want to welcome Bobby Fierro, Wildgraven Tarot, who's just arrived. And I'm looking for some other people who just came in. But I don't. Mary Alice Waters, welcome.
You're welcome.
And Garnet. Garland. Why did I have Garland? Okay. Yeah, Garnet, welcome. Okay. So Jazz is next. She wants to know, wants me to ask the records about her soul mission and purpose this lifetime. Oh, okay. So Christy Murphy, this will apply to the question that you asked about your guides too. Okay. I believe it was Christy Murphy who asked about who her guides were. Okay, so there's a very interesting catch-22 about purpose. We all need to find our purpose, but nobody's going to tell us what it is because it's something we have to discover. So I can ask, but they won't tell me. I can tell you that right now. This is experience and observation speaking to you. So what I can tell you about your purpose in this lifetime, humanity has built-in purpose of love and service, okay? And, oh yeah, it was Chrissy Murphy, okay. Humanity has a built-in purpose that's wired into us on a spiritual level of love and service to each other. Now, within that meta purpose, if you will, there are lots of little purposes that are individual purposes. So maybe your way of providing service is to be a doctor. Maybe it's to be a really good medical transcriptionist, because those are important. Maybe it's to be a really good billing clerk. Maybe it's art. Maybe it's knitting and teaching knitting. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, it can be anything, but how you find your own individual purpose within that greater sphere of love and service, how you find it is by following your joy. So what is it that brings you joy? What is it that, it may not always be something that brings you money, okay? But for survival, you have to have something that makes you money so that you can, have a roof over your head and food in your belly. And then you find your Maslow's hierarchy of needs. First, you look after survival, then you can look after your spiritual needs. So if it's art, I hope you're an excellent artist and you can make like $20,000 every time you sell a canvas. If not, be a plumber and do art on the weekends and at night. Because your purpose is what brings you joy. And as you follow your purpose, as you pick up the little breadcrumbs that are in front of you that like, you're curious about something, you look into it, it's fun to do, and you pursue that, and more breadcrumbs show up in front of you so that you can you go from one to the other to the other. Oh, that silversmithing course looks so interesting. Maybe I'll do that. Oh, that was so much fun. I think I'll take a goldsmithing course next. And maybe you can work your way into being an actual jeweler, but you're following your joy. You're following what your heart is leading you towards. Your heart, your soul. I use the terms interchangeably. Forgive me. That's just how I think of it. So yeah. So that's how you find your purpose. That's how you align with your purpose, is by following what calls your heart. Whether it's, helping people in an elderly, in an like in a long-term care facility, helping, volunteering for a children's program after school. There's lots of things that but nobody's going to tell you. It's something, it's part of discovering yourself, right? It's part of finding out who you are. And that's why nobody's going to tell you what your purpose in life is. It's love and service. That's a given for every human being. What kind of love? What kind of service? You get to find out. You get to discover. Is there anything you want to add to that, Pixie?
Yeah, I think that sometimes you'll be interested in something, and it's not necessarily going to be your life path, but you're interested in it, so you decide to do something or go somewhere. And what it leads you to is the connection
Yeah.
that's going to lead you to
Yeah.
find life's purpose.
Breadcrumbs. Yeah, the
Mhm.
breadcrumbs.
It's kind of, we have to learn to pay attention, and it's sometimes very subtle. So if your mind is very busy, it's really hard to pick up on it. So the more you use that ability to pay attention and go, okay, or let me take a breath, and let me just take a breath and bring it down a bit, calm myself, and just see if you can feel something. It's usually going to be in your solar plexus most of the time, not all of the time. And the more you use it, the stronger. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it's going to get. And really, they're there to help you. So if you can tune into your guides, and it's like having your own personal university, kind of, in a way.
Yes.
All your teachers are always with you, so you can, and they have the information. So if you ask them, you have to ask them. They can't interfere. You have to ask them for the help.
Yeah.
Then step forward and they'll help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is their purpose. That's what they're doing. So that's their purpose. You're fulfilling their purpose by allowing them to help you.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
easy.
That's right.
Then you're
Yeah.
not looking all over the place for information, And some things happen that you don't think are good in your life for a reason. So the faster you learn the lesson that particular situation brought to you, the faster you're going to move on. When you don't listen, the lessons tend to get a little bit, more difficult. It's the same subject. It's just a little more amplified the next time it shows up.
Yeah. So the narcissist gets nastier and nastier every time you don't learn to set boundaries and walk away. It gets okay. You didn't listen. You didn't listen to the nudge. You didn't listen to the shove. Now you're going to get a clue by 4. Yeah, that's been my experience and my observation.
Mm-hmm.
And good jazz that you're working on your intuition and because that's that. Okay, and this brings me to Chrissy's question, which is about guides. To hear your guides and to get to know your guides and talk to your guides, you have to still your mind so you can, thank you, you can hear their inspiration. They're not going to shriek in your ear the way Wanda does. They're going to, it's generally a little whisper or maybe a little voice in your head that says, Linda, that's a really bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
This will not turn out well. Find another thing to do. Find something else. So getting to know your guides is a question of working on your intuition, quieting your mind by whatever means you want, which for a lot of people is meditation, but there's a lot of different ways to meditate. It's not just sitting still and going, that works. But if that doesn't work for you, go for long walks in nature, go running, go swimming, dance, lots of knitting, any washing dishes. It's, any sort of activity where you can keep your mind, your monkey mind busy, and the rest of your mind can, meditate.
And the
So
more you work with them, the better it is because like I said, as the muscle becomes stronger. Let's start out with small stuff. Not give them, a great big huge decision, but let's say you want them to. You can have parking angels. I know that sounds really strange. Just find you, in a busy parking lot. What'll happen is if you ask them for help, a lot of times you don't see any spaces, but as you're going along, a space opens up.
Yeah. Somebody leaves.
They hand
Yeah.
it to you almost. Here it is. Here's the
Yeah.
part. Sure.
I get rockstar parking all the time.
Mhm.
And I want to say hi to Viviani, who's joined us. And and don't worry about your getting to know your guides as you still your mind, and as you listen to their inspiration, they will make themselves known to you. Okay, it's yeah, parking guides do work hard. At least with me, they do.
Yeah. You can
So
ask them for a sign too. Something that, you know, ask them to make it unusual, something out of the ordinary that'll stand out to you.
yeah, yeah. And that way you can start, that's a good way of validating for yourself that communication is taking place, because then you can trust that what you're receiving is indeed communication.
Right. And the
So
more it's a good idea to keep a journal. I know a lot of people, it's hard to do that because your life can get very busy, but it's kind of a consistent point of meeting with your guides or with the universe, and you can write down what happened. It helps you kind of, keep track of what happened. And when you ask a question, what happened after you ask the question, that helps you trust them more and more and more.
yeah, yeah, and it helps to have that record of, to go back and look at and go, look, this is confirmation, this is confirmation, this is more confirmation, validation, and uh, and yeah, and the relationship works on trust. The more you trust, the more you'll hear.
Well,
Um,
we all have one. It's like the birth angel. They stay with you. They come in with you. They stay with you until you leave. And they're usually called a birth angel. I know not everybody believes it's not necessarily that part of that religion, but it's energy, and it's a form of reference,
yeah,
so that you can tell which one is doing what. Because
yeah,
sometimes you might have a guy that's in for a specific reason because there's something going on in your life, and they have expertise in that whatever's going on in your life.
yeah,
And then after whatever that is done, then they may leave, and then another one may come in. You don't necessarily have the same group of guides your entire life. They will change, and the
yeah,
more you'll sense that there's a change just in the way you feel, or in the way it feels in the room, or wherever you are. If you notice it's a little bit different, and you'll get that quicker and quicker. Faster, say. um the more you pay attention to it, the more you're sensitive to it, it's not going to let you down. So it's a great. Where are you going to get that? You'd have to pay somebody to do half of the stuff they do. That's what fills them with joy, is they agreed to do that, and that makes them very happy. Sounds
yeah,
weird. It does. It makes them very happy.
yeah. It does. Well, anytime we act in alignment with our purpose, we're filled with joy. I mean, it's a natural byproduct of living your purpose. Doing your mission, however you want to phrase that. Thanks, Pixie. And thank you, Jazz, because that's a good question, and it's always worth talking um, about how we communicate and what our purpose is and how we find our purpose. I know it's not an easy answer, because the answer essentially is figure it out, but that's part of our development, right? Hey, you're gonna go right back home if you keep this up.
And
She's bored.
you're helping them fulfill their purpose
Mhm.
too. We're
Yeah,
helping them fulfill their purpose when we work with them and we're open.
yeah. So next we have Emily Lawrence Bradley. I think that's your question, Pixie.
Okay. May I please know if what I'm doing now will give me happiness, stability in the future? Hmm. How do you feel about what you're doing right now?
Is
I don't feel like you're sure that what you're doing right now.
Yeah,
I don't feel like you have any certainty of that. I don't feel like I'm grounded in that profession that I'm doing. you're more hoping it's going to do that, especially right now. It's a little crazy. So I just heard walk with the masters. So they want you to talk to your guides and ask. I hear they're going to give you a sign. You're not going to be when you get the answer, there's not going to be any doubt in your mind. They're going to make it very clear for you. Because her mind
Emily says she feels very uncertain and that she's in school right now.
Yeah, her mind is very busy too, I get, like very busy. So I'm seeing that they want you to take some downtime. And you, because you're so busy, you feel like you can't afford that time, that you need to get this done or that done, or, but it's making your mind so busy. I also feel like you're tired, like you're overdoing it. And they said that when you're that busy and you're that overwhelmed and tired, then you're going to miss out on certain things that are going to be helpful to you. They're there to help you. Because I'm getting take a walk with the masters. It was more than one person or guide that I was seeing. They know it's difficult. They've all been there before. So apparently, whoever these guys are, they've been in a situation like the one you're in right now, where they didn't know what they wanted and they were overwhelmed and tired and trying to get 50 million things done, not getting enough sleep, because sometimes you do try and fit a little bit of a social life in there, hopefully. But
Social life.
it's hard because that social opportunity doesn't always come at an opportune time for a student, because they may have a test to study for, they're writing a dissertation, who knows what's going on. So you kind of feel like, well, I'm missing out on that part of my life because I'm too busy with this part of my life. But then you become, all work and no play makes you a very dull person. You know that old saying?
Yeah.
It's true in a way. It doesn't free up your mind to allow it to kind of roam and be open, because I just got the weirdest. They showed me they're pitching balls at you. Like, like, hey, and here comes the ball, it's incoming. It's a really weird vision, but they're not getting your attention because you are so overwhelmed. You're just almost like you're walking in a like coma, like you're just so tuned out, kind of zoned in but tuned out at the same time. I don't know how else to explain that to you, but I see you walking and that's what I'm seeing. They keep throwing those softballs at you and they're just like whoosh, one goes by and you don't see it, you don't feel it, like you're in this really weird headbutt. So they're saying they want you to breathe, they want you to get out and go for a walk. They want you to walk. Walking is very rhythmic, it's grounding, and you have other things going on around you, so you don't get to be as in your head as you might be. They said, see the beauty, it's all around you, because I don't feel like you're seeing it right now.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, wow, they're handing you a bouquet of flowers.
You need more fun, Emily.
You're very like sincere person. You're not how do I say this? You don't like goof off. You're almost overly responsible and serious, is what I'm saying, which is good for certain things, but there's, you need to have a life too. Like Linda said, you need to have fun. You need to see the beauty around you. You need downtime. See, I feel like your breathing is really shallow. You don't breathe deeply. And the more oxygen you get in your body, the better off you're going to be, just in the way it works the physical part of your body, but also it's going to bring your nervous system down a little bit. I feel like it's like ramped up as high as it'll go almost. You're a nervous wreck, kind of. Nobody would know that if they looked at you, but inside, that's how you feel. So they want you to go for a walk. They said, I don't know, I'm seeing a bench. I don't know if there's a bench where you are nearby. I feel like it's in a park. They said they'll meet you there, is what they're telling me. So weird. They're, yeah. I don't think they have used them very much anymore, but they used to be those, those brushes that they used to have where they brush somebody's clothes off. Ever
Yeah.
seen? Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. They're like dusting you off kind of thing. It's really a weird vision that they're giving me. It's like, I think they meant it to be humorous because they want you to laugh a little bit more. It's almost like, we're your butler. Here we are. We're cleaning you off. We're getting rid of all these things that you're, carrying around that you don't need, just making you heavy. They want you to be more lighthearted. They want you to talk to them because they have information that's going to help you a lot. Because I know sometimes you have to make big decisions about what you're going to major in, and it's not like it's free, so it's an important decision, and it carries a lot of stress for, I think, a lot of people that are in a higher education situation, where especially right now, all the other stuff, they're saying let that go. They just dumped a bucket of water over your head. I'm like, let me ask them why. It's almost like they feel like that's what they have to do to get your attention. They almost have to put you in a state of, oh, I didn't see that coming. You know what I mean? And it kind of breaks the tension and makes you more open to what's in front of you. They're there to help you to, get on the right path. And with your education, I feel like you're a little bit off. Not in a big way, but there's some adjustments that need to be made. I see them getting out like a syllabus, and they want to look at it. They want you to open it, and they want you to look at it. And you're going to notice, like, your eye will stop in a certain place. They want you to get out one of those markers, the highlighters. And I'm seeing you highlighting some things in the syllabus and talking to the person, that you talk to about your classes, and just having a conversation with them, kind of opening. I'm seeing them crack open a door, like, over here, kind of like. Your guys are very funny, by the way. They're very literal too. They they give me visions that, there's no mistaking what they're talking about. They're very playful. They want you to be more playful. They'll also show you that too. They said, oh, nobody has a guarantee of tomorrow, so never not take an opportunity to see the joy and the beauty. It's there. You just have to see it. And right now, I feel like almost like you have blinders on.
Yeah.
So I hope that helps you to know that you have, I guess there's 3 of them. They said the trifecta. That's what I just heard. Like I said, they're funny. Oh my goodness. So you definitely have, they're right there. They really want to help you. They're so excited that they can talk to me and that I can talk to you. Because they said you have a tendency to disregard things sometimes. They want you to be more open and quieter, not have your mind be so busy all the time. Because a lot of that is fear and worry is what I'm hearing. Give it a try. You'll like it. That's what he's got a baseball glove in his hand. Give it a try. You'll like it.
Emily asked what kind of adjustments need to be made. Well, I think that's the first one, is to start listening to your guides.
They're going to help you. That's why they mentioned it to me.
Yeah.
Get it out, and they want you to sit there, and they want you to be quiet. And just you feel the urge It's going to be in your solar plexus is what they're telling me.
Yeah.
And then just ask them for a sign too. If you're not sure, ask them for a sign. If it's not the right one, you're going to know it. You're going to feel that it's not the right. If you try and highlight something that you think you should take, they're going to let you know. You're going to feel it in your solar plexus that you don't feel comfortable with that decision necessarily. So, but that's what they're encouraging you to do. They really want you to talk to them because that's what they're there for, is what they're telling me. And they are very funny. So that's a lot of fun to work with.
And you can talk to them in your dreams. You can ask them to come to you in your dreams. So that, to talk with you in your dreams. If you're not able to do it in waking life, you can ask them to do it in your dreams. So think of that. Try that. Thanks very much, Pixie. And thank you, Emily. I hope that was helpful.
I just reduce the stress level. So no, she's not out there, on her own, having to make all these decisions and, deal with everything. They're there to help her. They're a lot of fun.
Excuse me. I'm going to abscond with the queen so that she can go up. She's getting bored. I gotta bring her back home. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be right back.
Well, I hope that helps. I know, it's just a very kind of difficult time for everybody. And that just is kind of adds another level, because it's very important information to know, especially when you're in school, if you're on the right track or not. But if you let them help you, I just saw you riding a surfboard.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, she's from Hawaii, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, she is. She is.
Ah, okay.
So no doubt what you saw was what she'd like to be doing right now.
Life will be a breeze. You're riding the wave.
So, this is my question. Could I ask what from my last life set me on my spiritual path for this one and what my focus should be? Well, your focus should be whatever your heart calls you towards. We'll find out if it was your last life or if it was 3 lives ago or when it was, okay? We'll find that out together. It's not just one last life. It's you've been on a spiritual path for many lifetimes. In fact, it could be argued that every single human being is on a spiritual path. Some are slow, some are fast, some take, detours, but it's all a spiritual path for everybody. Now, but you've had lifetimes as a shaman. You've had lifetimes, indigenous lifetimes as a wise woman, as a shaman, as a medicine woman. You've had at least one lifetime as a Buddhist monk in Nepal, Tibet, somewhere cold and rocky. I guess that's one way of saying, the Himalayas. So your spiritual path has been set many lifetimes ago. Your contracts have reflected that. Even in the wealthy lifetimes that you had, you took care to look after the less fortunate, um, according to the Bible, the biblical teachings, to feed the hungry and heal the sick. You took that seriously. So even as a wealthy individual, the lifetime that I'm seeing is just a flash of someone in, it looks like Renaissance Italy, a wealthy merchant, who gives alms to the poor and has food handed out from the back of their, that's a very traditional kind of a thing. The very ancient kind of a thing is that, the food is handed to the poor. After supper, the leftover food is given to the poor waiting at the back door. I mean, it sounds terrible to us, but it was a real act of charity in like the 15th, 16th centuries. So this isn't your spiritual quest is not a recent phenomenon. Your spiritual quest has been ongoing for 1,000 years as we count time. And even longer than that. Now she's mad at the budgies. I see a lot of different lifetimes. I'm telling you a little bit about them, but they're the 20 or 30 most recent lifetimes have been really, the contracts for them have been really spiritually focused. You want to learn about compassion. You want to learn about the meaning of charity. You want to learn about healing and spiritual healing and how the two work together. There was a lot packed into those lifetimes, Patrick Duncan. So your focus should be wherever your heart takes you. You have a good foundation in your soul, okay? Like your soul is well developed and you're connected to it. And so not all the same path. That's right. A really diverse journey because you wanted to learn all you could about everything you could learn about. Okay. So you're like a magpie learner. It's shiny. I want to know about it. Me too. I do that exact same thing. I know stuff about some of the weirdest things you would never imagine just because it was interesting to me at the time. So that's perfectly fine. That, however, not so much. That's perfectly fine, and it's an absolutely valid approach to learning and a valid approach to spiritual development. Don't discount it. Like these people that focus on one thing and they can I can't do that. I wasn't built that way. My soul isn't built that way, and apparently neither is yours. So it's not something from your last life. It's something you've been doing for many, 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 many lifetimes, and you've been learning all you can about everything that you can, and good for you. Your focus, whatever is next. Clearly, you're not. Just judging from what I've seen of your past lifetimes, you're not someone who's going to stay a monk for lifetime after lifetime after. And that's really like, how are you going to learn by doing that? You do the same thing over and over and over again. It's the different experiences that you have that bring you to awareness and knowledge and a deep spiritual understanding of yourself and of your fellow human beings, and a deep knowledge of yourself too, because really that's the first spiritual law, right? Know yourself. So your focus is whatever you want. Your focus is whatever is interesting to you. Your focus is whatever you want to explore next. You know? So do it. Like, do it. I'm so interested. I'm so interested in what you've accomplished so far in the lifetimes that you've had. That's really something. It's helped you develop a deep compassion and uh, and also you have a really good sense of boundaries too. But yeah, good soul growth. Good soul growth. Yeah, there you go. That's what I have for you, Patrick. I hope it's helpful. Yes, Diane, follow your joy. Have some fun.
Yeah, Patrick's knees, they showed me somebody's bending over with like a platter and putting it forward in front of him, and he needs to learn how to receive more.
Hmm. Hmm. Excellent, excellent insight, Pixie. Excellent insight.
It's just as, sometimes there's a purpose in receiving.
Well, it's a lesson for you and it's a lesson for the person giving, right?
Yeah, I don't get the feeling he's used to a lot of receiving,
Mm,
used to giving. But they were, yeah, saying to do
yeah,
that.
you're right. Hmm.
Don't turn it down when it comes your way.
Yeah,
Get when it does come your way, it's going to be sincere. Whoever's,
yeah.
putting that platter before you is a sincere person. There's more than one, too. I got 3. So
Mm.
something to look forward to.
Thanks, Pixie. Thank you, Patrick. I hope that's helpful to you. Um, we have, we still have questions from Nancy Ray. We've been on for about an hour. We have questions from Nancy Ray, S. Steele, Suzanne G., and Chrissy Murphy. And Nancy Ray is next.
See, what
This is your question.
skills can I use in this lifetime to be of service?
Well, some of what we said earlier should be useful to you, Nancy Ray, about purpose and love and service and stuff like that. Some of that should be useful to you. But Pixie probably has, she's probably having a conversation with your guides right now.
There's a connection to it's like a connection to Patrick's message. Sometimes it's not all about using your skills to do things for others. It's about allowing people to do things for you, especially if you're not used to that. If that's not the way you're built, that's not the way you're raised. And you tend to, it's almost like it makes you uncomfortable for some reason, is what I'm getting. So they're saying they want you to open up and learn how to receive to get rid of that feeling of not feeling comfortable when somebody wants to give and it's a genuine.
Worthiness. It comes to worthiness. I just got that. Sorry.
That's all right. I'm hearing your love more than you realize.
Yeah.
Because you don't really focus on your needs. I'm getting that you're more raised to focus on others' needs rather than your own. And I see there's like a group of people, they're standing close together. And that's part of their learning, is what I'm hearing. So they're waiting to step forward to give things to you. And that you need to learn to be open to receive those things. Because that's part of their life path, is that's a lesson they need to learn. You already have that part down, you have the giving part down pat, but they want you to work on the receiving part. There's got to be 6 to 8 people in that group that I'm seeing. All I'm hearing is, we love you, we're waiting. We look forward to our interaction with you. There's going to be a purpose to each one of those people when they enter your life. And they don't have to be people that you're really close to, that you know, like a friend or a family member. I don't get that with these particular people that I'm seeing. It's like they're waiting. They're in this group waiting, you know, for their chance kind of to step into your life. It's weird. It's like I'm seeing like you know, those rolling sidewalks at the airport. That's what I'm kind of seeing. There's one in front of them and they're just kind of waiting for their off ramp. That's what they're kind of waiting for, is their off ramp to enter your life and spread the joy, is what I'm hearing. There's not enough joy in your life right now. And it's there, it's waiting for you. You have to see it. I don't know if you ask your guides for help, or, you know, you just want to, sometimes it's just talking to them, you know, kind of like a friend, telling them, hey, you know, I'm having trouble with this, or this is going
Yeah,
on, you know.
that's helpful. That's actually helpful.
Yeah. Look at them like that, you know, even though you don't necessarily see them, they're still there. They still hear you. They can still respond. They may speak in a different way. You, depending on your gifts, you know, sometimes you might hear them. Some people may see them. Some people can, you know, get a download of information. They don't really know where it came from, but they just know something all of a sudden, but they don't know why they know it or how they know, because they're like, where did that come from? Those are the kind of unusual things that we necessarily might not notice, because they're more in the minutia of life. But yeah, I see like good 6 to 8 people, men and women, not just one sex. They're waiting. It's like, oh, okay, they showed me a key. So you have the key to open the gate. You just have to put it in the key hole itself and open the gate. Don't be afraid to open the gate. It's like, I feel like you feel like if you open the gate, something bad is going to happen. It relates to something that happened in your lifetime, this lifetime, when you were younger. And you feel like by doing that, you made a bad decision, that it was your fault what happened. And your guides are saying it wasn't your fault. It's almost like you have to keep saying it. You keep almost beating yourself up over it. Like, if I hadn't done that, it was my fault. I shouldn't have done this. Or you have this conversation going on in your head. They want you to basically kick the tenants out. They're perpetuating that conversation in your head. They want them, you know, give them the boot. They need to get out of here, kind of thing. It's not, that conversation is not in your highest and best interest, and you've been in that long enough, is what I'm hearing. Like, I've seen you with cowboy boots on. You're just, you know, like kicking them out. That's what they want you to do. They just want you to be more open and stop taking the blame for anything that isn't good that happened in life.
Mm.
Just look at it as something that you learned. It wasn't your fault. That, you know, look at what you needed to learn from it. Learn whatever it is. Just take the lesson and take everything else and clear. It's like I see you clearing out closets. It's like you're clearing out closets. You open the door and you're just throwing stuff out on the floor that needs to go. But that's what they want you to do. It's like a mental clearing. But to do that, some of it's already there and it's so loud. It's always there. You need to evict that situation out of your thinking. It's in your subconscious mind, so you're gonna have to do a little bit of work on it. Journaling will really help a lot, because it'll reveal things you don't realize you're thinking about all the time. but you have control over you need to take control over your thoughts and kick out any that aren't in your highest and best interest is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
It's time,
Yeah.
it's time for you to live your life. Live it with joy, live it with gusto, live it with love. Look forward into the future, and they don't want you to expect something negative to happen. They want you to look forward into that future and see something really positive happening. Like it's your time is what I'm hearing. It's your time and you have the key. So open the door.
So, sorry.
It's okay. I hope that helps, Nancy.
So, Nancy, spiritual skills that you can use in this lifetime, you have the same spiritual skills that we all do. Okay. They may need some development, but if you're willing to offer compassion, if you're willing to offer kindness, if you're willing to offer actual physical service like volunteering or something like that, if you have time to do that, when you're ready, no, I shouldn't say that. It's not when you're ready. It's when your service, we've lost Pixie. Oh, there she is.
Something was going on there.
There you were, gone.
Yeah.
So Nancy Ray, my experience has been that, and also my observation of other people's lives has been that when you make a sincere request to be of service, it will fall into your lap. It certainly does for me. And this channel is one of the ways in which one of the ways I've been given to be of service. But there are others, I don't just have an online life. Well, no, that's not true. That's all I've got. I just live online.
I feel like Nancy's already been of service too much in a way that.
Yeah. I think it's time for you to grow yourself.
You need to be front and center in our life.
Yeah. It's time to think about yourself and grow yourself and put yourself first and focus on your own growth and your own development and be of service to yourself. And how can you do that? That was the first snort. See, oh my goodness, look at this.
She's done too much of that. She needs to make herself front and center and let her
You need more fun, girlfriend. You need more fun.
Like a flower. It's like letting a flower be in the sunlight in nature. And then I see it just opening like a flower. It's like the first time, really, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Kim B said, Kim B, you need to download the Discord. Your invitation has probably expired because they're only good for a week. So I will email you another one after the show. Okay. And don't let it expire this time. Okay. One of the perks of membership is access to a Discord chat. We have a queen of memes who finds the weirdest and funniest memes ever. She is, well, I sent you one. I stole one of hers and sent it to Terrell yesterday, and some of my some other friends. Yes, I have friends, and everyone appreciated it a lot. And now they think I'm hilarious. I'm not. She's the one who stole. I stole it from.
Sense of humor, though, Linda. You do.
Huh?
You have a good sense of humor.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll laugh at anything. So I will, those of you who are interested in membership, it's cheap, it's easy, and I really appreciate it. I treat my members like gold because they are the rock of this channel. And I'm always on Discord because I don't have I do have a life. She said,
when you're talking to people, you're still engaging in life, even though you're not out of your apartment. You're still engaging with people. So
yeah. I do have a social life. Absolutely, I have a very rich inner life. So for those of you who are wondering if I did almost snort. For those of you who are wondering about the membership, there's lots of great perks. You can read about them in the under the title. There's a join membership, and it'll have a list of all the perks. And they're pretty awesome, if I say so myself. They're very creative because I made them up. And I went through a whole bunch of other people on readers on YouTube to see what kinds of things people were offering, and I thought, yeah, I can do better than that. And so, yes, so please join the membership if you feel so moved. And if not, that's fine. You can make a contribution to the channel. You can support the channel lots of other different ways. If you take a look at your comment line, there's a $ with a little square around it. You can make a contribution with super chats or super thanks. You can send money through PayPal to either me or Pixie, or to both, because it does cost money to keep the channel on the air. And there you are. That's my self-promotion for the day. I'm not comfortable with promoting myself, but I know it's important, and so I make myself do it. So there, I did it.
Yay.
Gerald is still here. He's probably laughing about how awkward I am about the whole thing. Okay. Good luck to you, Nancy. I am so happy for you that you are going to be putting your skills for yourself. Now, this one is whose question? It's mine, isn't it? Yes. When you search, this is S. Steele, when you search the Akashic records, could you tell me which one of my past lives meant the most to me and how it has impacted me in my current lifetime? Meant the most. Okay, that's an interesting way to interpret. That's an interesting thing to interpret. So like meant the most because it was the most traumatic and left the most bruises on your soul, or meant the most because you were the happiest and it carried you through a few miserable lives afterwards. It's perspective, you see, as Steele. It's the perspective you have. Okay, they're not showing me anything. I think they want me to channel. Each one of your lives was a lesson. Each one of your lives was at least one lesson. Each one of your lives had an impact on what you're doing now and how you're living your life now, because those lessons that you chose for yourself in this lifetime are being presented to you. What you've learned from previous lifetimes is what you're using to make decisions about how you meet this lifetime, how you meet the challenges in this lifetime. There is no one life that overbears all the others. That's not the right word. Overshadows all the others. Your soul's life, oh, this is interesting. Your soul's life is like knitted fabric. You can't pick one stitch and take it out and say, this is it. This is the jewel. The rest of the fabric falls apart and just becomes a meaningless tangle of yarn. That isn't how soul development works. It works by building and expanding the knowledge that's been gained. Some lives were sad, some were happy, some were rich, some were poor. Can you pick out which would be more important for your spiritual development? Different lessons are learned in each kind of life. It is incorrect to view a certain life as more important than any other. Even a life that ended in a twinkling of an eye had an impact and taught you a lesson. I think that's it. I think that's a message from the masters for you, S. Steele.
I hear a song, but I don't know the lyrics.
Mary had a little lamb.
Keeps repeating.
Meant the most to my heart or taught me the greatest lessons. Again, I think the masters would say that that's a matter of perspective. I mean, is compassion a greater lesson than patience? I don't know. Depends on the soul, doesn't it? Some souls have a really hard time learning patience.
Yeah. That song means something because I see a little girl skipping.
Yeah. The heart. Okay, so you meant the most to your heart. Oh, okay. So you want to hear about a vacation kind of a lifetime that where because I mean I'll tell you the truth. After a few tough lifetimes, we're usually permitted an easy one. You know, we can choose to have an easy lifetime where like the one that was described for Kim B, an easy lifetime where there may or may not, where there will be lessons. Okay, let's face it, you don't get a lifetime unless you start thinking about what lessons you want to learn. But you want a vacation lifetime. Okay, that meant a lot to your heart. Okay, I see art. I don't know if you do any painting or anything, but I see art. Someone standing in front of an easel. It's France. It is France. I'm looking out the window. Yeah, that's Paris. It's long before the Eiffel Tower. Like I'm thinking 1760s, judging by the way people on the street are dressed. After 1750, but before the revolution. And you're an artist. You're actually quite well known and well respected, but you don't sell much, sadly. But you are a member of the no, it's not the Académie Française. I forget what it's called, but it's the national body of like art people, and or maybe it's the precursor to the one that was formalized later. I'm not sure, but there is like a group of artists who pass judgment on whether you're good enough, and you are good enough, and you are respected by your fellow artists. You just don't sell a lot, and they don't know why, because you should, and you don't know why, because your work is at least as good and usually better than those of your contemporaries who are painting similar, landscapes and portraits and so on, but you're just not selling as much. But you keep doing it because you don't know what else to do. I mean, it's your life. You love it. It's what gives you your life purpose and meaning. And even though you're eating bread and cheese and drinking the roughest, cheapest wine, you wouldn't change your life for anything. You're very happy there. You recognize that you should be getting more material benefit from your art. Everyone agrees with you. Nobody's pulling the wool over your eyes. Oh, yes, of course you should be selling. Oh, yes. And meanwhile thinking, oh, the guy is really crappy. No. You're very good. And everyone acknowledges that, but no one understands. Part of it is that, okay, so the people who are buying the paintings, it's the aristocracy, right? And the bourgeoisie, the merchants, and the those kind of people, the higher ups in court and so on. Those are the people buying the paintings, and you don't kiss ass well enough to please them. You have an interesting sense of your own self and self-worth, and you greet them as equals. You bow, and you do all the correct social forms, but they know. I love this about you. I mean, this is wonderful. I just love this. You know that you're as good as they are, and they are aware of that too. And they don't like it because you're an artist and they're a nobleman or woman, and by golly, they're better than you are, and you need to acknowledge that. And you do the forms like I said, but you don't actually believe it, and somehow they pick it up telepathically or whatever, and so they're not there. So that's why you're not selling, is because you don't kiss ass well enough. I don't know if that has any resonance for. I'm laughing not because it's funny, but it is funny, and it's a problem I recognize, not necessarily in myself. My husband was an artist. My late husband was an artist, and he thought he was better than any other human being on the planet. and yes, he did have client difficulties. Customer service here. So there you are, S. Steele. I don't know how it's impacted in your current lifetime. This was absolutely a vacation lifetime where you got to do whatever the hell you felt like, and that was painting. And you made enough. You had enough that you didn't starve. Okay, you did not live like a king. I see. I think they're called garrets, only it's nicer than a garret. But it's a studio that you lived in. You had a room at the back of it, and you had heating, and you had you were able to boil soup and stuff on the stove, but you didn't have a bread oven. But who in Paris bakes their own bread? And so you were quite comfortable. You had the essentials, let me put it that way, and that was all you wanted because that was your life. So, uh,
That was funny because when you were talking, I saw them doing like a really, the old deep bows they would do with their arm in front of them, and then the handkerchief in the other hand, and it was a very deep bow to this
yeah,
couple. But after he got by them, it was like it was kind of
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Essentially, yeah, that's right. That's right. That's exactly the attitude that they didn't like, and so that's why your paintings didn't sell. But that's okay because you got what you wanted from that life. You fulfilled your contract. That you got to. Yeah, me too. I struggle with that sometimes. Don't worry about it. But you got what you wanted. You wanted a life of doing what burned your soul. What was burning to get out of your soul. That's what you wanted to do, and that was your life. It was an awesome life. I mean, not in terms of material accumulation of material wealth, but it certainly was an awesome life in terms of independence and doing something beautiful that you loved, that you were good at. Wow, life was a real gift to you, a real treasure.
Well, it was really funny. Some of the people that bought the paintings were just like they were. So they had that same, I don't like them either. You know what I mean? So it was almost like their way of rebelling. They would purposely buy his paintings,
Yeah,
put them in the
yeah,
house, kind of like their statement. It was their quiet way of saying, well, I feel the same way he does, but
yeah,
you're going to tell me I can't buy that painting, and I'm going to buy it and put it in the house.
yes.
It was like their
Just
way
as
of rebelling in a way. It's kind of
just as
funny.
a big fu to all the snobby people who are going to come by and see it and understand the message that is very clearly displayed on the wall. So yeah, Toki,
That's kind of,
absolutely, I get that. Yeah.
it's really funny.
Oh, it is funny. I mean, it's funny now, like 300 years later, but
Yeah, and well,
later.
kept it was their way of also staying and not losing their every last ounce of their,
I feel you, S. Steele. I feel you. I heard just a couple of days ago about a vacation lifetime of mine, and I saw so many resonances with my current life, and I just went, hell yeah, I'm so glad I got to have that. Yes, and maybe I'll have it again. But, there you go. Oh, sorry, I've got lost in there. Who's next? Sorry about that. Um, Suzanne G. Oh, yes. Suzanne wanted a reading on a life that had an impact on her current life. Good. I'm glad it helped you. I'm glad it helped you, S. Steele.
Well, there's more than one, so let's see if we can figure out which one. I asked, like, where am I? Because I was seeing, something, and I just wanted confirmation. It's definitely has to do with the church. Catholic Church is what I'm getting. I'm seeing like a, bishop. It was kind of a lifetime that taught you about discipline, compromise is what I'm hearing. Faith, not necessarily. I see it a lot in prayer. Not necessarily always agreeing with the church's faith and how it was carried out. That was hard because you didn't have the level of authority you would have liked to have had to make some changes in what you were seeing. So you chose to be of service by helping those people that were affected that way, or groups of people that were affected that way. And you did it, that's the word I'm looking for. You had to be quiet about it. Like it would be something that you would do. It's like time where you're out of the, because I'm seeing like a house with a great big huge walled in yard. It's like when you're out of the, I want to use the word convent, but it doesn't quite fit. But when you were out of that, and it was your own time, basically. You'd be out and you'd be, walking around or going to certain places. And it was really kind of difficult because you had to be careful what you did, the level to which you did it, who saw you do it. Just a lot of politicking going on, not just within the church, but outside the church. Never a good thing. It's the most prevalent life thing that's coming forward, but it taught you kind of how to do it and do it without being sacrificing, getting thrown in jail or, worse. Just saying. You had to be, it's like a balancing act, a really delicate balancing act. I get 2 lifetimes before that. You weren't quite as, you didn't have the finesse that you did in this lifetime. This lifetime, you had the finesse to pull it off. You had the personality, you had the charm, you had the intelligence. You always saw multiple ways of doing something. So you used your intelligence to kind of solve puzzles, difficult puzzles, a lot of times involving people who can be very unpredictable, especially when they think that their pride or their source of living or their level of living could be affected by whatever they did or whatever they said, and they might make things up just to kind of make them look better to somebody else when it wasn't true. So it was very like walking a tightrope almost. But you were really, really good at it. Like I said, the 2 previous lifetimes, they were used to kind of, you were trying to do that, but you didn't quite pull it off. It didn't end well. a couple of those lifetimes. But in this lifetime, you managed to get like certain patrons, the wealthy that really liked you, that would have protected you and had the power to protect you. And you agreed with their moral compass, let's put it that way. They put their money where their mouth was. They weren't afraid to do that. They were willing to do it. So you had people that would have your back and who understood what you were trying to do. That was a rare gift, is what I'm hearing at that time. I'm getting France. You're in France.
Yeah. I'm getting 1500s, 1600s in there. Great political turmoil because the Reformation was happening.
It was not easy to stay alive at that time if you were in.
Yeah.
It's very dicey, but you'd already been through 2 lifetimes where you didn't quite, make it. But this time, it's like you perfected the skills that you had been working on in 2 previous lifetimes. They're telling me you're really good at, what's the word I'm looking for? Negotiations, or, smoothing things over, trying to, get people to see one side or another. You still have that gift. You brought it into this lifetime with you.
Yeah. Negotiation.
It's a huge gift to have, because a lot of people cannot do that. They just can't. They don't know how to walk that line without losing their dignity, or with, you're really good at it though. Almost kind of like what we think of when we think of like an ambassador, who has to deal with all those tricky subjects and people. It's kind of like that. That's the most important gift you had. It got you through that lifetime. It got you through the life. Didn't just get you through, but you were successful. And like I said, you had backers. So, they smoothed the way for you in a lot of instances where somebody might say they didn't like you or whatever. They had enough. They were elevated enough in their station in life that they could kind of protect you. They could use their money to do it under the table if they had to, because they had the same gifts that you had. They were just at a higher elevation of status in that lifetime. But it's like a soul recognition for you and the other people. You recognize that in each other. And you got your joy out of helping other people that were less fortunate. It was a very difficult environment. And, justice was swift, or what they thought was justice. So you didn't get a second chance. If you messed up, you're done. Bye-bye. They had no qualms about doing that at all. So that's what I'm getting, is your huge gift that you brought forward with you, is to be able to read people, be able to talk to them, to be able, like I said, negotiate things, help other people understand each other. That's not a small gift to have. It's a huge gift to have. And it was your 3rd lifetime that you perfected it in, this one that I'm looking at right now. It filled your cup, is what I'm hearing. They didn't use soul. I'm hearing it filled your cup. It was overflowing in some instances. It was overflowing. Very emotional sometimes. It's an interesting lifetime. You didn't do without, because you were fairly high station in the church, and that's what kept elevating you. You would move up because of those abilities, because other people depended on them. They needed you to help them too, because they were trying to, talk to somebody and they didn't have those gifts, and, they could get in trouble real quick. So they would call on you. You didn't just do it for the church. You did it privately too, but it was very, you had to be careful. So you had a lot of gifts, and you brought them forward.
The ability to build bridges, the ability to negotiate, the ability to achieve to build a team, the ability to build alliances with other people. Those are all really important skills. And you brought that. You still have those. Wow. Thanks, Pixie. And thank you, Suzanne. Okay, our last reading of the day, and then we'll close the records.
Yeah, I just heard blessings be upon you is what I heard.
And Chrissy wants to know, what truth about my divine gifts have I forgotten? Well, I could cheat and pull a card. I was looking at your question just a few seconds ago before, while Pixie was still reading. And the thing that came to me, the thing that the masters think you've forgotten, is how deeply loved you are, how precious you are, how important you are in the universe. You are unique. There is no other soul like yours. You were created for a purpose. You were created to discover your mission and to complete it. And you are loved unconditionally. You are supported unconditionally. Ask for the help you need. You will receive it. You won't be able to hold it. Your arms will be filled with bounties and blessings. These always move me deeply because I get to feel a little bit of what they're sending you, Chrissy. That's the most important thing that you've forgotten. The most important truth that you've forgotten that has to do with your divinity. You've forgotten that you are created from source. Like, I have a really sort of 6-year-old sort of vision of this, of how this happens. I know it's shallow and childish. Don't bother telling me. But I have a vision of like source, God. Okay, because this is 6 years old, right? So God reaching down and taking a hunk of source energy and rolling it around in their hands and then going, and that's you. You are created from divine source energy. You are, your soul is God. You are a piece of God right here, a spark of God right here on this planet. We all are. We all are. That's how we're co-creators. That's how we have the spiritual power to manifest. That's how we have spiritual powers like clairvoyance and the whole list, okay? That's all divine. That's all part of our divine nature. The divine nature of our souls, which is who we really are, the essence of our being. So there, you are divine, you are infinitely precious and infinitely loved. Remember that. Don't ever forget that. I'm going to need to ground real hard after this. I think I'll go and have some soup.
Yeah, I saw somebody, with the stardust in their hand, and they were turning in a circle and blowing the stardust out.
No.
Yeah, when you were talking into the universe, never forget that you come from the light. You are the light.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That light is within you, and it always will be.
I hope that helps, Chrissy. I hope that helps you focus on what's really, really important to you. And that is love and the divine nature of your being, the divine nature of all of our beings, because we're all created in the same way. God did this for every one of us. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to read the closing prayer, and then we'll do a little more housekeeping talk, and then we'll say goodbye. We've been on for nearly 2 hours, and my butt is getting numb. I did put an extra cushion. I did put an extra cushion under me today, but it's starting to flatten
You could get
under
one
my.
of those, like, what do they call those ones that are Tempur-Pedic ones? That's like really cushy, and that would be
Oh,
nice.
it's because I sit on the edge of the couch because the laptop's too far away from me. If I sit where I'm supposed to, it's like this. So yeah, it's too far away. So I sit on the edge of the couch, and it's like wood, so it just sort of grinds into my hip bones.
For some upgrades to your setup. Let's put it that way.
The things I do for this channel, honestly. Okay, so let's say the closing prayer. We'll do this the way we did the opening prayer with 3 deep breaths. I would like to close by thanking the light for the truth. I would like to close by thanking the light for the healing energy. And I would like to close by thanking the light for the guidance and compassion towards our soul's purpose. And with this, we lock the records of this group. The records are now closed. Pixie, what's happening for you in the next week or so?
Just a lot of work in the house and stuff, and some readings, but not nothing major. It just seems like it's never ending right now. It's like, wow, when this is
Well,
done.
you'll be back on this channel on the 15th.
Yep.
Yeah. So I just want to let you guys all know she'll be back here on the 15th. Mark your calendars for Sunday at 2:00 Pacific, 5:00 Eastern time for Diane's Children's Day show, Diane G's Children's Day show. Subscribe to her. Diane, are you still here? Please put your channel information in the chat. Please go and subscribe to Diane's channel. She's going to have some amazing stuff coming up. On Tuesday, Gerald is going to be on Akashic Adventures as a guest. Yeah, he's only our second guest. Or apparently we had 2 guests before, but I don't remember. I don't remember having 2 guests, but
I've watched a lot of your shows, so you're us not.
Yeah.
That's kind of all go together, and you're like, okay,
yeah. Thank you, Diane. So there's Diane's channel. Please show some love to Diane and subscribe to her channel. The link is in the chat, and be sure to show up for her show on Sunday. So Tuesday, Akashic Adventures with Gerald, special guest. I'm really excited about that. That's going to be fun. And at 5:00 Pacific, I'll be on Bobby Fierro's channel, Wild Raven Tarot. And next Wednesday is going to be a special surprise at 2:00. Diane, should I tell people now? Just say yes or no in the chat. I may as well, Yeah, I think I will. Too late. I'm gonna. Okay, Diane and I are doing a show. We've been planning this, and we're gonna. Their first one is going to be next Wednesday at 2:00 on this channel, and Diane will be simulcasting on hers, and uh, it's going to be a healing and clearing show. Diane is a very, very powerful healer. I call her a soul psychiatrist. She specializes in clearing and healing emotional blockages. So in your, I don't fully understand it, but there you are. That's why I don't do it. She uses the help of the Akashic Records Masters and guides and angels and the archangels. Metatron's a big assistant, and she just does amazing work with people. It's going to be really exciting. We're doing it once a month to start with, and depending on the reaction and everything, if there's an audience, if there's a need for this, we'll increase the frequency. But yeah, that's next Wednesday the 7th at 2:00 Pacific, 5:00 Eastern. And on Thursday, Gerald is going to be on this show. So Gerald's going to be my guest. So we have Pixie this week, Gerald next week, and Pixie the week after. It's a powerhouse this month, I'm telling you. So that's what's happening.
Yeah, everybody with everything that's going on right now, the best thing for us to do is go within and find some peace.
Yeah.
Just peace, just a break.
Enjoy and have a little fun. Go jump in a puddle. Go smell a flower. When you're out walking in the neighborhood, the lilacs here are in bloom. I don't know if they're in bloom anywhere else, but they're here on the West Coast. They are in bloom. So I go out for a walk and I sniff everybody's lilacs. And they don't even know it. I'm stealing their lilac smell.
That's what they're there for, to be enjoyed, though.
I feel so naughty. Thank you all for being here. And thank those of you who are watching the replay. Thank you for doing that. And I really appreciate your support. And I'm sending you lots of love.
Yes. Love and blessings to everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.